Indeed, honor and pleasure. 2018 and now we're talking 2023. So मैं तो निशब्द हूँ बट आई एम जस्ट कमिंग फ्रॉम इंडिया. भारत से मैं आ रही हूँ. मैंने बहुत ही प्रगति देखी. आई हैव सीन न्यू भारत हैं. और आई एम टेलिंग यू वेरी ऑनेस्टली, when I was leaving, a month and a half was not sufficient. Beautiful. The minute I walked in, you talk about Jagannath Puri, we were there. And it is, Bharat has so much to offer, so much to offer. You know, today I'm standing right here in Naperville, Chicagoland area. I would like how the people of diaspora, because they really want to do for their Janambhumi. We do have a rin that we want to pay it back. How we can get involved into this new evolving Bharat.
Well, there are two aspects of growth. One is infrastructure and economic, which you observed across India. That is primarily job of government, and which government is excellent in doing that. Second job was of government, but it is more of a public. People at large have to do. Nowadays we talk of Bharat being Vishwaguru. We don't become Vishwaguru by just enhancing our GDP and economic growth and infrastructure. If you think, if someone says it makes Vishwaguru, then I would say America is already Vishwaguru. And Sweden is much more, per capita income is much more than US. What India can contribute in terms of character building and ethical values and the wisdom of living. See, it is important that it is not important what you have. It is important how you look at and how you use. See, something you can create for a one-upmanship. But Bharat had all discoveries for Sarve Bhavantu Sukhina. Sabka Vikas, Sabka Vishwas hai. So today we live in a world which is, I would say, is heaven compared to what I grew up with lack of. We are 100 problems of have-nots. In even the road and transport and electricity, phone was beyond the comprehension of common man, and mobile was unimagined. So everything is there. World is a heaven, but still human being is very unhappy. Lots of psychological issues, lots of separation. There is no social life, no marriage, etc. Because they are missing in wisdom of living. You have wisdom of earning, but wisdom of living makes you happy. That India has to contribute. My suggestion to Indian diaspora is, I find they are also running after the economic growth. You please own up the invaluable heritage that you have, gifted with, and spread that. I tell you, across the world, they have soft corner for India because every Indian is ambassador of India.
Absolutely.
By his character, by his deeds. They are always contributor. They always abide by the laws of the land. They always help to the local people. Now the world needs this help. World doesn't need economic growth. World needs a wisdom of living. That India can give. And I say first you live it up and contribute back to India, to those groups who are spreading this, because we don't have government support. Other religions have Rajyashraya. They have government support government. Resources are at the disposal, whereas we have to create voluntarily. Any institution or any project done voluntarily will have limitations. When it is funded or supported by government, it will go in a big way. So, but then because of the constitutional limitations, being a secular state, Indian government cannot help us, Hindus particularly. In fact, there is some reverse discrimination in the name of protecting the minorities. So, Indian diaspora can help all those organizations which are holding on to and propagating that rich heritage. See, yoga became a soft power. Ayurveda can become soft
Now
power.
it's the call of a millet, I think, the millet
Yes,
here, like
millet, that's a call.
Mhm.
So India has to contribute to the world in gaining mental peace, happiness, and owning of this heaven that is there. They don't own up. They are in heaven, but internally that mindset is of hell. So let Indian diaspora own up their heritage, pass on to your children, and help in India.
As we talk about, like, sciences and spiritualities, they have to balance it out. You cannot live without science, you cannot live without spirituality. Where there is no balance, we do see that India has to contribute, and India is doing it in a bigger manner. The call of honorable prime minister for the yoga day, and now letting people know about the grains that we talk about, that we never, and that is coming here, because we used to eat only always organic, but here when we see that, like, oh, we never heard of anything non-organic at our time when we used to be in Bharat. So it's a changing India. Rights versus, they always talk about, we do have a rights, but what about the duties kind of thing? That is what, if you just put a little light on that.
See, human being is always a receiver or taker. You just take from entire universe, beginning from plant kingdom in terms of oxygen and all that, from animal kingdom. Everybody is contributing for your survival. Our scriptures taught us that you be a contributor to samasti, to totality. You, since you grew up there, we always have sensitivity. We don't say that we occupy a special biological space and they are all meant for our consumption line. We have a same space. Our forefathers forbidden us from even killing an ant out of curiosity.
Absolutely.
Paap hai. As a child doesn't know what is trying to hold and he says, no, mar jayegi, don't do that. And in day-to-day culture, it is interwoven. In India, every street, every village has a bird feeder.
Yeah.
That's sensitivity. Every village, every street, even in metros, have an animal feeder. So we have to be a contributor. You cannot be contributor forcefully by law. You can be contributor only when you discover it is your duty to do. And whole society was duty based. You remember yourself were taught by parents. This is your duty. If you are older, your duty to take care of younger son. You are a son or a daughter, it is your duty towards the parents. Even I tell you, Hindu marriage is for fulfilling duty.
Absolutely.
The
Yeah.
Saptapadi, the declaration, I will do this, do that, do that. A married couple is always conscious about their duties to the parents and the relatives and the society. When duty based society is there, once my duty is your right and your duty is my right. So rights get fulfilled. When there is a right based society, there will be fights. Because everybody wants more rights. And therefore, duty has to be enforced by law. And therefore, society becomes a litigant society, which you see here. We took upon ourselves. There was some excesses of exploitation, but we kept on following the West model, educating about right and right and right. Doesn't work. Society, look at this. I tell you, the earthquake of Gujarat.
Yeah.
People stood up. Society stood up. Look at Kumbh Mela. People say it's the biggest Hindu religious congregation. I tell you, there is not a single hotel in Kumbh Mela.
I know. It's all been the
Crores of people keep and people feed. Is our duty.
Our yatras,
Anything.
yatra, you go.
Any Tirtha Kshetra, there is Anna Kshetra. Any religious pilgrim, there is Anna Kshetra. People feed. They build dharamshalas. Even today, this Kavadi Yatra and Amara, people not only feed, they do massage. People when do walking. So a duty based society makes you responsible. Right based society makes you selfish and you become giver. And unless you are a giver, our Gita says, Stena eva saha. Ye pachanti atma karanat. One who does things of himself only is a thief. No animal thinks of itself, Bhagavan has designed them to contribute. Even a pigs are contributing, eating the filth.
Eating the filth. Yeah.
Something, or bugs inside. When you plow the earth, you know some bugs. They are the best pesticides for the earth. We think of our rights and our luxury. That's why ecological problems are.
On a concluding note, let's keep it aside. I, being a woman, I'm just seeing there are so much happening to the women in Bharat. There's a very recent film which has talked about, like, Kerala story. And I want each and every woman, like, because government even has accepted that is going on. So I would like if you can just put little light on that.
As I told you, in the name of protecting minority, there was reverse discrimination. This is a classic example of reverse discrimination. There were laws, but it required a will to do justice. Those governments of those times didn't have a law. There are people who, it always happens when you have investment, emotional investment in something, more so in religion, you become insensitive to others and you think I am the only one, and therefore you do. So it's okay. I appreciate it is because of religious doctrination. They have that feeling, but it is a job of the government to implement, to see that justice is done. They never saw it. So unless the public awareness and public pressure comes, then they will implement. So they use the whole bureaucracy for that. Like classic example is Ram Mandir.
554.
Even if say they all accepted, see they had nothing over there. But it is so much of I would, if I was there in the other side, I would have said, you have so much of sentimental investment, so I give away. You cannot look at it on economic ground, monetary ground. Like it is like Gandhi's ashram. In Ahmedabad we have ashram, Sabarmati. That ashram was available for a song, land. Now it fetches millions of rupees. But nobody can sell that ashram and move the thing somewhere else because the sentiments are involved. So they should have been more gracious. Gracious to, and even the government should have been sensitive and gracious. I fought that whole case and initiated the Ram Setu movement. This blatantness, or what I have no word for the government. It was our case. Subramanian Swami happens to be our legal cell convener, our Acharya Sabhas. Government had an audacity or blatantness to say there was no Rama. So it is a political consideration, or popularly called as vote bank politics. They have been doing this, and now this is happening because public is aware. We trusted the governments, and they betrayed the trust. And in the process, those fellows could betray the trust of a woman, which is, as per our Shastra, is a worst papam.
And it's a human rights violation. If you just see, you convert somebody, that's on the piece of a
Not
loaf.
even converting, but deceiving somebody. And there's a most, for this marriage is a relation where there is a total surrender. Our Shastra says, Lajja is there in a woman, inbuilt. And she surrenders. That means how much trust she has put. And the worst thing is betrayal of trust. Any kind of trust. You can't betray the trust, even friendship, even in an office. All these laws are there, corporate laws, because you should not betray the trust. And there you allow, where the whole life is at stake. That is something non-thinking and too selfish for the parties, those who supported that. And I'm happy that movement is taking place and they are brought to the books, and everywhere in democracy, when public awareness is there, government will be following the policy and back foot.
Thank you so much for your input. I really appreciate the time for us. Namaskar.
I'm happy to be again with TV Asia, and Vannaji in particular. We had a meeting in 1718. She is always pleasant to meet with and comes up with the good questions. And I wish good luck to TV Asia. I'm sure they are doing good service to Hindu diaspora. I hope Hindu society follows more of a TV Asia and listens to that, and you may enhance their viewership. Namaste.
Pranam.
Yes, Ajay.